people who watched that press conference who thought that Trump was encouraging or asking the Russians to hack Hillary's email or her network or her server. But every damned one of these drive-by people took it exactly that way, and then they got righteously offended and indignant. Do you see what he just did? He advocated hacking. Trump just told the Russians to go ahead and continue to hack Hillary's email. I don't know how you get there, but you must have zero sense of humor in order to think that Donald Trump was actually advocating political crime. He was trying to mock the phony premise of the Hillary campaign in the media. He was ramming it right down their throats. And in truth, what he was doing was mocking their jobs. There's 30,000 missing emails, and they didn't seem to care about it. They're asking him about it, and everybody else says they know where they are, but the Democrats are not interested, the media's not interested, the Obama administration is not interested in where they are. So Trump asks Russia to find him. I mean, it was actually one of the funniest things. And when I saw the way these people reacted to this, I was in stunned disbelief for 5 minutes or so, till I remembered who these people are. And they're still living it. They're still, this Gregory soundbite proves they still think that Trump asked the Russians to hack. Because he was already colluding with them, don't you know? He had already cheated the election, cheated Hillary and working with the Russians, so he's just asking them to keep doing what they had already been doing. The fact that they believe this, and I don't think they're acting. I know some of you, no, Rush, they're just posturing politically to advance the agenda. Maybe some of them, but I'm telling you, they believe it. Don't doubt me on this. Folks, they don't live in the same universe, the same world we do, and they don't think anything like you do. And they all think alike. They are all, I mean, it's groupthink. You want to know how to define it, watch the drive-by media, and that Russia was the source of the documents WikiLeaks posted. Julian Assange, I don't care what you think of him, I'm just telling you what he said. From the beginning, he has denied that Russia was their source. He's got 2 tweets out there today. Here is the first one. This is fake news, CBS, you pathetic excuse for media organization. I challenge your controlling oligarchs, the Redstone family, to a $100,000 bet that providing access through WikiLeaks to our unpublished information is false. So he's challenging them with $100,000. Show me your proof. You prove that we offered this access, I'll give you $100,000. The next tweet from Assange that came about, 21 minutes later, another CNN plus CBS story about WikiLeaks today turns out to be a 100% fake news. Another Brian Ross moment. Who's going to get fired? And then the pièce de résistance. The Washington Post, you ready for this? Email pointed Trump campaign to WikiLeaks documents that were already public. Which, well, yes, this is my point. The documents were already there. And wait, you know what this really is? This is another trap. The WikiLeaks documents were already public. They were already posted. Now we've got a story out of nowhere, out of the ether, that WikiLeaks or somebody offered the Trump campaign fodder against Hillary when it's already published and already public. It would have been worthless. The Trump campaign wouldn't have needed it. They wouldn't have sought it. It was already all over WikiLeaks. So I think we have a manufactured story here. And this is what I think Assange means with the Brian Ross reference. What did Brian Ross do? Brian Ross reported that as a candidate, Trump had ordered somebody to get hold of the Russians to do X, Y, and Z. And then had to correct. No, sorry, it was after the election that he told Flynn to call the Russians, which is perfectly permissible. Transition team operations. So here, documents are already posted at WikiLeaks. Somebody sneaks out a report that there was an effort to leak them to Trump. This is manufactured, made up, to create the opportunity that CNN is using to make everything something brand new that we never knew before has just today been discovered, and it proves collusion, as David Gregory said. I've run out of words to describe these people. Shameless, journalistic malpractice, near criminal. It's dangerous, way beyond the constitutional mandate. I don't know how you describe this, but it is dangerous that these people have the ability to do this. And to guarantee you, well, I have to hold off on the guarantee. I'm out of time for a moment here. 34% of millennials would prefer to have sex with bots. Yeah, and I predicted it. I predicted it. The bots, they don't hassle you. They don't. More than a quarter of millennials say they would replace a human lover with a droid. It's a UK Daily Mail. 27% of 18 to 34-year-olds would form a relationship with a robot. British men were 3 times more likely to form a relationship with a robot compared to women. Men are more likely than women to prefer their social media lives to their real ones. That's everybody. That's the problem with it. There you have. That is the problem with social media. Everybody lies and talks about what fun they're having. And when they left Monte Carlo and they're heading over now to Cannes, when they finish Cannes, they're heading to the Hotel du Cap eating rock. Meanwhile, you're in Detroit, barely aching out a 30-degree day. Why am I not in Monte Carlo? Everybody's lying about the great life and all the fun they're having. It's creating psychological problems, and that's why people report that they prefer their social media lives to their real ones. 70% said the smartphones are weakening human bonds. Anyway, the big number here is 27% would replace a human being with a robot for sex. I'm just telling you, I predicted it. I'm fairly recently, I predicted this. Amidst all of this sexual harassment stuff and all the rape allegations and all that, just clean it up. Get a robot that stuff's not possible. Pure and simple. We're talking millennials here. Now, folks, the interesting thing about this Washington Post story that I just shared with you is CNN made up the major part of this story. CNN misreported the date of the WikiLeaks email that Donald Trump Jr. received. This is all part of that phony meeting that the Russian honeypot set up. Remember, they called the campaign and they said they had some dirt on Hillary, and Trump Jr. said, hell yes, we'll take that. And when they had the meeting, it wasn't about Hillary. It was about some piece of legislation the honeypot had been charged with Russia and her clients, the Mansky Act or some such thing. It was about adoption. The whole thing was a setup. It was a way to get a meeting about a piece of legislation. If they'd asked for that, they wouldn't have gotten it. They weren't president yet. So they called him and they said, we got some dirt on Hillary. And Trump Jr. said, hell yes, bring it in here. And they tried to make a crime out of that, and that failed. And then what CNN did, this story that breathlessly has been reported by Wolf Blitzer and Gregory, CNN misreported the date of the email that Donald Trump Jr. received saying they had the WikiLeaks data. The campaign did not get advance warning of what was going to be on WikiLeaks. CNN is trying to say that before it ended up on WikiLeaks, the Trump campaign was offered it by the Russians. So the bottom line is there is no story here. Julian Assange is exactly right. This is another Brian Ross moment. CNN either made it up or just got the date wrong because they get up every day hoping and praying that day is the day they prove Trump colluded with Putin. Do not poo-poo that. That's their reason for getting out of bed every day. That's what drives them. And folks, they can't drop the Russian collusion story because 80% of their audience is there for it. All of these insane liberals all over America watching Colbert, watching MSNBC, watching CNN, they have to be fed this. They can't accept that this guy Trump actually outsmarted them and beat them. So it has to be that he cheated with the Russians. So these leftist news networks have to feed that audience, that beast, this lie each and every day. And now they've gotten caught up in it to the point they believe it. It's gone beyond the fact that they know they're pushing a sham. It's now swallowed them, and they've become part of it. This is a major, major journalistic error that they're going to try to sweep over and ignore. They got the date wrong because they thought they had Trump nailed on collusion. And what they did was actually overlook the fact that the data being offered was already on WikiLeaks. There was nothing secret, premature, early, private about it. People buying a home are not always assured that it comes with a functioning security system. Some people buy homes and then tear them down and rebuild their own. Others buy the home and live with what's there, remodel it. Others buy a home and do nothing but move in. Depends on budgets, time, desires. So you buy a home that has a functioning security system. So the real estate agent shows you how to operate it and so forth and so on. But it doesn't take long. There's something wrong. There's a fault somewhere. There's a bad connection on a window and it won't arm. And you don't know what to do about it. So you never arm it anymore. So you have a non-functioning security system. Let me tell you that if this is you, if you're going to buy a new home, move into a new home, new apartment, and you're worried or concerned about home security, let me give you a name, Simply Safe. Get a new Simply Safe system. Tear out what's in there and put your own in. This system works entirely on Wi-Fi. Therefore, there are no wires to run, no walls to rip out and have to put back in, no other people, no site surveys, not a big crew to come out and do it. You can do it yourself. You just identify the doors and windows that you want to secure. Then you just decide where you want the motion sensors and the cameras. If you want sensors that detect breaking glass, you can put those in the mix as well. And then all of these sensors communicate via Wi-Fi to a base station in your house that emits the siren or what other warning you want when there's a break-in or fire. If you want, that base station will then call the fire department or the police department, 24/7 monitoring that's called, for $14.99 a month. And there isn't any long-term contract on any of this that you have to sign. So you're not committing to anything beyond the next 30 days financially. Simply Safe systems are sold online at simplysafeusa.com. You can find or design the system that works for you. They've got some stock systems. You'll see them. You can see this at Best Buy. They have some stock systems on display there. Or you can buy a la carte, whatever you want. As many sensors for the doors and windows as you determine you need. You know, maybe you don't need a sensor in the attic window in the third floor. So you don't put one up there. But I guarantee the other companies would tell you to do it, and they'd run a wire up there, and you'd pay for it. You figure out where you need to have your house protected. You make sure that happens, and you're done. SimplySafeUSA.com. Whatever deals are there with no offer code, that website is essentially the offer code. SimplySafeUSA.com. Here's Mark in Trinity, Florida. Welcome, sir, and I'm really glad you waited. Hello.
Mega dittos. We appreciate you, us conservatives. So regarding Trump's Jerusalem announcement, it was a campaign promise kept. I believe it was a show of strength, helping regain U.S. stature internationally that I think Obama lost. Now, interestingly enough, the Jewish people, American Jews, are consolidated Democrat voting bloc. I believe it's like 3% of the population. Now, my comment is this. If you were to go walk in the Jewish neighborhoods in L.A., New York City, Brooklyn, for example, Palm Beach or Broward counties, and you went through those neighborhoods and say, hey, what do you think about, him supporting the Jews, and will you vote for him? What do you think those American Jews would say? Do you think they would support Trump? I know Chuck E. Schumer doesn't, and he's Jewish, and Al Franken doesn't, Dianne Feinstein. They represent those people I just mentioned. They don't support this. I think that this announcement is great, for America. But what I don't understand is why the Jews, as a bloc, won't support Trump on this.
Well, some do, but I know what you mean. You're talking about the Hollywood left Jews, Jewish people, the New York City. You're talking about Democrat Jewish people. And look, I've wondered the same question until I finally figured out the answer. And people have been asking this question, and not just about Jewish people. How it seems that there are a lot of groups that stay loyal to the Democrat Party, even though the Democrat Party is not loyal to the primary group they're members of. So basically you're saying, how come Jewish people will not recognize that Trump's move here is an aid to Israel, is a good thing? It just signifies what's already real anyway. Every government aspect in Israel is in Jerusalem. The answer to the question, Mark, is that liberals are liberals first, and whatever else they are, second and third. So in the case of liberal Jewish people, they are going to be liberal and loyal Democrats first and foremost, and whatever interests that their Judaism, you would think, would assign will be subordinated to whatever the liberal agenda is. So if the liberal agenda is, we've got to get Trump, Trump can't do anything right, this move to make Jerusalem the capital is damaging, even if they privately, secretly like it, they can't join Trump because they must remain loyal to liberalism first. It sounds simplistic, but it is the answer. Can I read you the note? Of course I can. It's my show. It says, a note of interest, Rush. Our audience has purchased nearly every flannel set of sheets, so please don't mention that particular product. Job well. We sold them out. Don't mention the flannel sheets. There aren't anymore. They're trying to make them, but apparently we created a run on. Doesn't matter. I had to share the note with you. I probably goofed up by sharing it, but Boll and Branch, we just put a new set of Boll and Branch sheets on the bed this week. I have to tell you, folks, I extol the virtues of these sheets every time I talk about them, and every time I get in bed, I make sure when we put a new set on, I do it regularly to make sure the quality is there, and make sure that it's the same feeling, so that I'm not misleading anybody here. And I'm telling you, there's just, to get the same quality of sheets, you'd have to go to a 5-star hotel or spend $1,000 on a set of sheets. And who's going to do that? That's the beauty of these. Boll and Branch sheets, you can give them as Christmas presents. You wouldn't believe the gift pack, well, not the gift, just the standard packaging in which they arrive will boggle your mind. And it'll make you think they're worthy of gift giving. Boll and Branch sheets are manufactured from pure organic cotton, unique to them. They make it. That's the ingredient that creates the softness and the luxury these sheets and the bedding are known for. You don't find it in retail stores. Online at bollandbranch.com. They create their own relationship with you. They thrive on the feedback they get from customers. bollandbranch.com is the website, BOLL and branch.com. Use my name when you first buy. You'll save $50 off your first set of sheets. And don't forget, every set comes with this 30-night guarantee, meaning you can use them for a month, and if they don't meet the expectations I've set, send them back. Full refund. The return rate is less than 1%. Boll and Branch, BOLL and branch.com. And remember, our audience has purchased nearly every flannel set of sheets, so please avoid mentioning that particular fabric. Here's Ray in Salt Lake City, Utah, on Open Line Friday. How you doing, Ray? Great to have you with us.
Great, thank you. Merry Christmas greetings to you, Rush. First-time caller, second-generation listener.
Great to have you.
Over here in Salt Lake City today, and just want to get your take on the. I know you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and so am I. I'm actually second generation on that. My dad was a Harrisburg, Pennsylvania resident, and so I grew up loving the Pittsburgh. I have more faith in them, but right now we're up against the Ravens next, and just wanted to see what your take was with them getting into the playoffs and just carrying on without Juju.
I'm just going to miss Juju Smith-Schuster, number 19, for one game. Ryan Shazier is out for the season, no doubt. And he was important. He's the best tackler on the field, and he's the the middle linebacker, the captain of the team. Defense especially. What I've noticed about Steelers, and I have to be honest, Ray, I haven't watched as much this year since the kneeling protest began. It made me sad. But the Steelers are my team. One I've noticed about them is they play to the level of their competition and frustrate the hell out. I mean, they should have rolled through Green Bay, and it took a last-minute field goal. Ditto. The Bears, they lost to the Bears in one of the first early games. And Cincinnati, they really should have rolled over Cincinnati. Shouldn't have taken a last-minute field goal there either. Now they got the Ravens coming. The Ravens are not lighting it up on fire. The offense starting to come back. They'll rise. The game everybody's looking forward to is a week from Sunday, New England and Pittsburgh. That's where Steelers fans still lack the confidence that the Steelers secondary can hold up against Tom Brady. And I don't know. We'll be back here on Monday, as I say, revved and ready to go.